feel like an 11-year-old that lit a firecracker for the first time every time I step on the gas in this car, you know what I mean? Like, you smash it and then just back tires want to go loose and you get that shit-eating grin. Like, that's how I feel in this car. But then as I begin to drive it more and more, I come to the conclusion that it's just kind of a weird mix of really soft suspension and a crap ton of power, and it's not as enjoyable as I wanted it to be. Today I'm driving a 2010 Ford Mustang GT500 convertible. Interestingly enough, whoa, the back tires just immediately get shredded right there, rolling on it in second gear. Ford made the convertible a lot softer than the coupe. Not really sure why they made it so soft. So 18-inch wheels versus 19-inch wheels. I dig the way these 18-inch wheels look a lot. A little bit more sidewall, a little bit better ride. The coupe has firmer damping, has stiffer springs. It's got tighter steering. Definitely a more buttoned down version. This car is really more of a Sunday driver. I think they made it more of a GT, so to speak, a grand touring car than a handler. It's really, actually, I took it down one of my favorite back roads here locally, and it's a handful around turns, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was kind of scared on a really twisty section of a road in this car. It's just got so much power, it's very overwhelming. It's a 5.4 liter, 540 horsepower, it's supercharged. I think everybody's familiar with the GT500s at this point. They gave them even more horsepower a few years later, 650 or 60 or 70, whatever it was. I mean, this 540 is plenty. 0 to 60, 4.6 or 4.7 seconds. Quarter mile goes by in 13 flat. Definitely feels faster than a 13-second car, especially when you're rolling on it. I think the reason why it does go 13.0s and it's not faster with 540 horsepower is because it just doesn't hook up. You know, these 285 tires, you know, they do a decent job, but for the most part in first and second gear when you're rolling on it, it's really just smoke and mirrors and that's it. It's really not hooking up until, you know, really third gear. Definitely has a great sound. I don't think you need to put exhaust on a car like this. I mean, the exhaust makes all the right noises. It snap, crackles, pops. There's a lot of overrun. Sounds terrific. You know, I don't think I'd want it louder. Maybe in my younger days, this is the type of car I would have put exhaust on to scare people, but for the most part, this thing sounds pretty mean as is. Definitely not lacking in any sort of torque or power area. The shifter's decent. The throws are really short, but they're not crazy positive. You know, for $35,000, this is a 2010 with 10,000 miles. I'd probably go with the new GT, just a more buttoned down car. Again, this thing is really scary around turns, man. But again, it does make you feel like, you know, every time you hit the gas in this thing, it's an event, you know? It's fun, it's crazy, it's like, holy shit, you know what I mean? But then when you try to go around a turn, it gets a little sketchy. Interestingly enough, I drove my Miata to come drive this today, and I guess I'm missing about 400 horsepower in my Miata compared to this thing. But it's just, I don't know, it might be more fun to drive. People are gonna hate me for this, but this thing really is such a handful on the street, man. It's just, you know, this will be fun at the drag strip, and that's really about it. Like, if you put some drag radials on this car, it would be a hoot at the drag strip. I really don't know why they engineered it so soft and why they made it so much softer than the coupe. You know, it's comfortable. It's super comfortable. Just got waved at by another Mustang. Hey, man! But really needs to be buttoned down. I think with a good suspension, I would have a totally different view of this car. And I think it does what it's meant to do pretty well, right? Like, it's just in your face. It's a lot of power. It's a good cruiser. You put the top down. You can do a couple burnouts in it. It sounds amazing. I get it for all that. You know, I've owned a lot of Mustangs, specifically Fox bodies, and I still love those. They're my favorite Mustangs. But I'd really like to drive the new GT350. You know, they're just, you know, they finally made them for the track, and I really, really dig that, as opposed to this GT500 that's really just made, I guess, for Sunday cruising and and just kind of having the top down and chilling. I mean, you can't use first gear. Even second gear wants to come loose. God. This thing is really fast, man. I definitely think it's faster than a 13.0 car. Probably just doesn't hook at the track. With the drag radial, it probably goes 1250s, 1260s. I mean, it feels, seat of the pants, it feels a lot quicker. Definitely zero amounts of lag from this 5.4 liter 540 horse engine. I mean, no lag whatsoever. It is just an animal. I love convertibles, and the cool thing about this particular convertible is that it only weighs 100 pounds more than the coupe, but it does have a lot of cowl shake, especially over bumps. As soon as I got in it, I went over a speed bump that I didn't see, and man, I'll tell you what, it felt like it was going to fall apart. So definitely a lot of cowl shake. But I like that it's only 100 pounds heavier than the coupe. I'm down with the convertible. I love the convertible. As a matter of fact, I think the convertible looks better than the coupe. This is a really pretty car. It kind of feels like a marshmallow with a rocket attached to the back, you know? I mean, every time you smash on this thing, the suspension is like boom. I mean, you kind of look up at the sky, you know what I mean? It dives when you hit the brakes. It's really soft and gummy around turns. But again, with a good suspension, this thing might be totally awesome. It is fun in its own right. I mean, it's definitely cool having this much power, you know? Easy to rev match. I think the clutch is fairly light. Man, I just went over a couple bumps right there again with the cowl shake. It's pretty gnarly, man. It's pretty bad, actually. Holy shit. I mean, the tires really want to break loose like any RPM, you know? First and second gear are useless in this car, man. It might need some 315s. These 285s are getting a little bit overwhelmed. Interior-wise, it's typical Ford, man. You know, especially this vintage Mustang. It's a lot of plastic. It really is pretty crappy. I mean, it's, you know, it's definitely not a European car or a Japanese car. It's kind of typical American car interior. The new Mustang, of course, has a much better interior. They still didn't hit it right. They still didn't hit it right on. Could I drive one of these daily? I don't know. I mean, it is really comfortable, you know? I guess the plus side of the suspension being so soft is that it really is comfortable. The seat's comfortable, the shifter's okay, the clutch is fairly light. I guess the only drawback to driving this thing daily would be that you're probably going to average 12 miles a gallon. If you have your foot in it, who knows, 8, 9, 10. Maybe you might get 15 or 18 or something like that on the highway. But you certainly could daily drive this car. In the rain, it's probably a complete handful. I don't want to be driving this thing in the rain, that is for sure. If you're looking for a Sunday driver though, you know, you're not tearing up back roads, you're just cruising down the boulevard, man, you just want something with a crap ton of power that looks amazing, this might be the right car for you. Overall, I really am enjoying this car, man. It's a lot of fun, you know. For as many flaws as it has, it's just a really special feeling car, and I really dig it. And I'm really enjoying driving it, and I'm going to concentrate on driving because it gets no traction in its first 2 years, and I got to be careful. So I'll see you guys. Peace.